It's a Friday, the 30th of October 2020. You are live on the Voice of Viz 88.1. We are VOWFM.co.za on your live stream. So please do join us in great conversation as well as music. Wherever you may be in the part of the world, you're always allowed to join in and have some lunch time with us. And if you haven't had anything to eat as yet, please do make sure that you nibble on something. On the line, I'm joined by Emmanuel Ngulube, who is pretty much here to talk to us about what the mining industry is all about. But over and above that, the change that is happening in communities that he's also really responsible for, instilling change, empowering members of the youth, creating employment, and also developing certain communities. And he is one of the two to all the communities that we have. Hello, Emmanuel. Thank you so much for joining me here on that lunch show.
Good afternoon. How are you? Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for having us on the show. I really appreciate it.
I would like for us to just really dive straight into it and talk about, all the work that you're doing. And I want to please ask you to please be open with us, to talk about your successes, to talk about the future, to talk about your past struggles, and to really, just really get into the conversation. I want to talk to you about all this amazing work that you're doing, because I stand here so proud.
Thank you so much. Look, it's been such a collaborative effort, more than anything, I grew up in a very Christian family, so, none of it's actually possible without God. So, that's one thing I'm grateful for, but more than anything, just, meeting such interesting people and being able to, at a young age, me and Dan were mates in school from grade 10. He came down from the Eastern Cape. I just been dropped in, from the 18 rugby team, because of my own shenanigans. So I was grounded. And, me and Dan just, came alive, right from the beginning. And he was there just supporting me as a friend. We did our first transaction together in high school, where we used to host parties at different clubs and so on. We weren't even meant to be in the club, but we were hosting parties there, and Daniel invested into one of our parties, and we've been business partners ever since. We were separated for a little bit after varsity, and we reunited again around the age of 21, and we decided to start EMT. And, it was a daunting task, because, we knew very little about mining. I had just, finished a job at Dozer Park, and they had a yellow goods company. They supply mining equipment to the mine. And I started there as a general worker, just, sweeping the floors, and, found our way, to a point where I was in the sales team. And when I was in the sales team, I remember once asking one of our partners, to give us an opportunity to sell their material. And he said, look, if you can find a buyer, you can go ahead. And in 2013, December, we did our first trade into Sapping Godwana. And literally 3 months later, Daniel and I quit our jobs. And, we said, look, we're going to dare to dream and try and get this thing done. And, a year later, we had partnered up with a company called HMS Bergbau. They're a Frankfurt-listed entity. They do a lot of export commodity trading as well, and they took us under their wing, and that was just a year of so much growth. Learning from people that you aspire to, and people you're learning from literally some of the best minds in the industry. And even after that, we split ways. When they were trying to purchase ENT, and we weren't really necessarily trying to let go of our business. We thought we could still do more in the business. And we then we decided to split ways, and Daniel and I stood alone again. And we had a very good year in 2016, but 2017 we took some of the biggest hidings of our lives. We basically watched almost our company almost become bankrupt. We were hoodwinked by some guys in the industry, and in the commodity space there's such an issue with transparency and doing honest business. Everybody's always trying to take shortcuts, trying to cut people out, and so on and so forth. That you kind of you don't realize how dishonest an industry can be, and that element in our past almost destroyed our business. And I remember, a lot of the time, even during that time, especially, Dan and I would sit and be confused and be like, but we're trying to do business, good business that's going to benefit not just ourselves, but benefit a greater community, and because then we decided to kind of now start to raise, capital for Africa, get assets going in a community and, giving back to those communities as well. And come up with a unique structure, where we try to get our, get employees and communities in the equity structure of big projects. So we have a very long-term view of, working together with different people, be it the workers that you employ on the mine. I think it's important that workers also experience, the benefit of a good year. Bonuses can't just go out to your CEOs and your executive structure. It needs to trickle down all the way down, because everybody assists to getting, this thing done. So, ENT has really grown into trying to become a value chain specialist and trading company, that creates a pit support solution for international traders and international partners, as well as, keeping the prosperity of our land in the hands of the people.
True.
And I think it's important that, we benefit as a society and not just, get rid of our commodity. It's a sad, situation that we find ourselves in Africa. We give away these communities. It's our rich land, and we find ourselves, selling it to overseas, where there's no local structure. There's the owners of the land itself, are now international businesses. It's really important for us to try to keep the wealth, locally, and that's how we'll see this country grow, and we'll see the impact from a grassroots level.
Yeah.
Not just fancy houses and stands.
According to business, true. That is very true. And I mean, according to Biz Community, they describe you as being synonymous for being one of the few, youth black-owned organizations in the mining industry, and that you've also been a driver of employment growth as well as community development. So having to have, my listener, including myself, listen to you talk passionately about what you're doing and how you're achieving it, you really are embodying all of this. And it really shows that there's so much that is happening in the mining industry, but yet again, you still choose to stand up against all odds and make sure that certain things become a reality. And we can all agree that mining often takes place in areas with limited infrastructure as well as services and a history of colonization and or even conflict and other few alternative economic drivers. Do you understand this entire context, right? And also the kind of influence that you might have in communities, how you are going to build decisions and how you're going to build relationships as well as developing different communities. How does mining then have an impact in all of these different drivers in communities?
Even as ENT, one of the main even as ENT, one of the main reasons we got into coal, even when, it was it's the frowned upon sort of commodity in the world at the moment. But, where we live in a third world country where, and a third world continent almost, where you have, 600 million people that live without electricity, and at the moment the world does not have any cheapest form of energy than coal at the moment. And I think it's one thing, for us to only look at the new prospects of, solar and renewable, which as ENT, we are firm believers in. But at the same time, we cannot forget the people on the ground that need electricity. So that was even just ENT as a vision, to be an energy company that supplies energy to the community. But over and above that, at the moment there's a project we are currently looking at, implementing early next year in the community where we're working. We're trying to set up Wi-Fi within that community, and get proper Wi-Fi for the children of that community. It opens up the world for people. It's one thing, to be stuck in a community where you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have access to, to the world outside of just that community, and to be able to try to bring that into, the world around us and bring it into the communities we work in. It will only just drive our youth, to think big and think differently. And we also have a home that we take care of, we believe in taking care of widows and orphans as a business, and it's our duty to take care of those that don't have. So we have, a program, a feeding scheme with the house, with the home here in Deep Sloot. And we've also done, we've given out scholarships over the years. We've given out about a scholarship a year since our foundation. So we've given out about 8 scholarships, in the last 8 years. And that's again to, really give back into the youth. We're very youth driven. We believe in the youth. We believe that the youth is going to bring the change that the world so badly requires. And not just the world, but South Africa. I think, we must salute our president and salute the people that came before us for the hard work that they did. But I think it's definitely time for that backing to be passed on to the youth and for us, to make a difference. And you can only do that by equipping them. And also at ENT, we fund young business. There's a lot of, young people that come with ideas. We have a very strong team here at ENT of, accountants, legal, and all sorts of things. So we look, to partner up with a lot of young businesses and hope, and watch these businesses grow over the next, 10, 15, 20 years. It's a long-term vision.
Yes, Emmanuel. When you talk about ENT and all the people that you as an organization have hired and how it's all going, I'm hearing everything that you're saying, organizational culture, organizational behavior, and we do of course need to understand the importance of cultivating behaviors that are healthy and positive, make the company, the objectives, the motives, and all of that. How do you cultivate a culture of respectful behavior within the organization itself?
How high you are on the organizational, no matter how small, in inverted commas, you are in the organization, everyone deserves respect. It doesn't matter whether you're female, white, colored, Indian, all respect one another. And we try to cultivate, one thing, is respecting one another and caring for one another. We've built a very family-orientated business, where we look, we link up on a weekend, we have together. We try to keep a very strong bond with our partners and our employees, and then also strong. I think even to 2018, when we were going through our tough time, it was important for us to be very honest with our partners and our employees to say, look, guys, we're through a difficult time, and we're not going to be able to pay you on time. We're going through all these issues, and we saw the team come together, where a lot of companies during either get sued by their employees and all sorts of things. But because we on a hands approach, to work with one another, and we also gave equity to our early partners and employees that came ENT. Again, just cultivating that, ownership. We want our people to own stuff, and we also start businesses. And, and again, it's just about us. It's not about Emmanuel Daniel's vision. It's for a greater vision, and that's to create an ecosystem.
You talk about how you went obviously through a tough patch in 2018. You had to talk to people around the organization.
Always at the time. And, we had to make the honest decision and say, guys, look, we don't think it's sustainable for us to keep working out of an office. Let's go back to a home office. We literally downscaled our expenses. We cut down on expenses where we shouldn't be in order to try to keep, the employees going, keep people living during that time. And, we also then would have weekly statuses with the team at the house. I mean, you would come to Daniel and I's place and it would be filled with people. And you'd think, all these young people are probably, having a good time in the afternoon, but the reality is we were all working, out of, our home. And, we just said, look, guys, we kept everyone in the loop. We really, asked for all hands on deck at that time. And, we decided not to try to solve things in a silo of just management and leaving everybody else in the dark. We were very transparent with the people around us. And, it allows then people to come up with ideas. I think sometimes as leaders, we put ourselves under so much pressure to always have the answers and always have the solutions. When in reality, if you just open up the question to people, they can assist you to get there a lot quicker. So we were very, it was, and again, it's a miracle that, the people stuck around, and I'm talking about, really professional young people, you know, we have, you know, qualified CAs, you know, attorneys and so on. All these guys who could have gotten jobs anyway, you know, they stuck it through. And I think it's important to know who you are, you know, bringing into your organization. You know,
we also do understand that ENT Minerals, you know, with everybody who's part of the organization, you know, you're amongst your employees, you have about 90% of your staff being black and about 80% of them being under the youth category, you know, and it's just like, wow.
Yes.
Really, like, that's all that I can say. Like, it's just when you, oftentimes we have these ideas we talk about and we have these conversations, but having to see it actually come to life, that 80% of your staff is black people, like, it's so amazing. And to know that those people also form part of the members of the youth in our country, you know, despite every single thing that we're going through. If there's a generation that I feel is experiencing the most in this time of the world, it's the members of the youth. I mean, I could 100%. No one is having it easy currently, but oh my gosh, it's like being a member of the youth in this time of the world, it's a bit of an extreme sport. It is, and it's a confusing time. You know, you almost find yourself wanting to be angry at someone, you know, wanting to blame someone. But, you know, and I think, again, it's because, you know, we haven't had anything to fight for a very long time. You know, and we've all now been caught up in just social media and all these other things that, you know, it's now clouded. But I think, you know, if we can, as a youth, realize that it's our time to, you know, grow this economy, grow this country. You know, that the leaders that went before us, they did all that they can. And yes, did they make mistakes? Yes, we will make mistakes on our journey too. You know, so we can't be also too harsh and unforgiving for the mistakes of those that have gone before us. But it's our turn to right those wrongs, as they fought for us as well. ENT Minerals,
the generation that comes.
Yes, sir. ENT Minerals also raised 20 million for 2 local mines, and this resulted in the increase of employment for locals, and also assisting surrounding community needs and funding university studies for high-performing students. Could you please just run us through this that you did as a company and where you are now and what the future holds for ENT Minerals in assisting members of communities?
Yes, no, look, I mean, we've raised, I think this year, we've raised close to, you know, I think that number's probably at about 60 million rand, you know, for, you know, small junior miners, in the Middleburg area. You know, we did a trade there with, a Swiss company, a large Swiss company. They, you know, funded the project, you know, and this was in a town where, you know, there was a lot of unemployment. One of the big assets in that area, you know, were subsequently currently in business rescue, and, you know, a lot of the workers are dispersed. So we took it on ourselves to, you know, fight this project to get it going, and we managed to raise the funding for that. And, you know, we got about 80 to 100 workers back on their feet and, you know, back at work. And now, again, like I was saying, in that community next year, we're looking to set up a Wi-Fi portal for that community. You know, so we're trying to really work together with that community to start making a difference there for them.
Thank you so much, Daniel. This conversation is very empowering, and we know that as members of the youth, through collaboration, unity, it's really all possible. When you have something to fight for, then you know how you are going to gear yourself up and how you're going to go about making sure that you attain that which you really out and after. So thank you so much for instilling hope and faith in so many members of the youth. And as another black child, I really want to say that I'm inspired. I'm very inspired, and you are all becoming the definition of it's possible. So thank you so much.
Thank you for everything you do, and thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate the opportunity.
There was Emmanuel Ngulube, owners and people who are responsible, right, for E&T Minerals and the changes and the empowerment that they are giving and instilling out here in communities. It's totally unbelievable. It's really, really up to us as members of communities. By each conversation that I have, I realize that the power really lies in our hands. And these are the kind of conversations that I really appreciate on that lunch show. It is 10 minutes before the top of the hour, 2 o'clock. We're coming in with your news update, so please stay tuned for that one. Otherwise, to stream us live, it is VOWFM.co.za. Let's pay the bills and get straight into it.